Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Rig It on Thursday with the coach. We're glad to be here today. I don't know how it is in your part of the country, but boy, I had a dilemma today. The temperatures begin to fall here in Alabama and Georgia, and I would come across the causeway and the shad were ganging up, and I know the fish are beginning to feed, but then the dilemma would be whether I want to do that or whether I want to go get in the deer stand, hunt a picture of a big old buck I got is just about to run me crazy. But anyway, right now is a good time of the year for any kind of outdoor activity. So, if you're not hunting, go fishing, whichever, but, definitely get outside and enjoy Mother Nature. Our giveaway today, we'll do it first thing, that way y'all can respond during our presentation. We're going to give away one of the new Drew Cook kits. He was on the show with us last week, and he's got a kit that we're doing for him. It's got his 3 basic baits that he won the Angler of the Year on, and then a free decal to go with it. So first one that gets the question that we're going to ask today will be able to tell us, win a free kit. So the question for today is, what is the top selling bait here at Big Bite Baits? It's a multiple choice question. You can choose between the suicide shad, the fighting frog, or the trick stick. And it'll be one of those 3. So get your answers in. Let's figure out who wins first. Anyway, so last week we had a couple of questions left. We're going off the table. We want to go to. They asked me, what do you do after a cold front? I don't do anything any different as far as my size of my baits, that type of thing. That might be wrong, but I just slow down. Normally the fish will bite the same things. I do like to, a lot of times, use something to get a reaction type bite, but biggest thing I like to do is slow down. I think that makes a big difference. The second one is, what setup do you use to cast lighter weight lures? Well, you can kind of pick your own poison there. I don't throw a lot of lighter weight stuff, but you either got to lighten your line up, lighten your tension on your reel if you're using a bait caster, work on your magnet and get it to where it'll cast, or either a lot of people go to like a spinning reel, Jordan, to throw for finesse type baits. And Jordan's here with me today, so you'll be hearing from him as we rock on in the show today. But that's some of the things I would recommend. So our presentation today is on a bait that we've had here. I've been working here almost 8 years. It was here when I got here. It was the first swim bait that we offered in the Big Bite line. It was designed by Dean Rojas. It was his idea. And we have expanded on it over the years, and we found it to be used in a lot of different ways. And as a result of it, it has very multi-dimensional type of properties. Let's talk about the Cane Thumper. That's the bait that we're going to talk about today, the good old Cane Thumper, our first swim bait. We've sold thousands of these out of this place. And so when we first started out, it was designed primarily in the 5-inch model, which is used more for a type of pulling bait, more swim bait type. And then as time progressed, things began to change the way everybody was fishing. So we came out with a 4-inch model, which makes a real good trailer, like on chatterbaits. I will show you that later on, or on swim jigs, that type of thing. And a lot of Alabama rig guys like pulling this smaller one on their Alabama rig. And then as we became, as time rocked on, things got even more curious. So we went to and developed a 3.5-inch model, which can be used a bunch of different ways, especially a lot of finesse guys like to use this one. So we tried to meet every need for the angler with our sizes. Now, this thing comes in 20 different colors, and we've got a lot of different types of colors, that represent a lot of different things. Obviously, we had the shad type colors, like the real shad, for example, and we had like an all white. Then we did the U-Fall Special, which is real good here on our lake that I fish on, and it's kind of mimicking a crankbait that was real popular here. And we just kind of turned this into a plastic crankbait, so to speak. And it worked pretty well for us. Or then we went to the trailer mode when we began to use baits for trailers, like on a black and blue type of jig. You could put a hematoma, or on a green pumpkin type jig, you could throw a green pumpkin with blue swirls in it, or just a straight green pumpkin. A pearl, which I've got type in a rig, I'll show you in just a few minutes. Sunfish laminate on the brim type looking presentation, so you could downsize and use it as a trailer. And then we had the clear water baits that we came out with, like for example the sparkle shad, which is a real sparkly shad. Then we've got what we call shad, smoky ghost, and then obviously a chick magnet is another color that's real good in clear water. So we tried to basically reach out to every venue, every type of water you might could see. And then we had some of your standard old colors like your watermelon reds, your green pumpkins. And then we got the shad colors, obviously. So it kind of basically, we got a full gambit. Bait still sells real well. It's very popular. And as a result, it's a very good bait to use. All right, now what about rigging it? Well, let's talk about several ways we can rig it. Obviously, people in the beginning would put it on a belly-weighted hook, either a screw lock or something like that. That was the way to fish it. Then things began to change. I know one time I was on the boat with Jeff Creek, and he said, "Hey, dude, man, I put this thing on a Texas rig and peg it." And he says that way when he bites it, you can just whack him and be done with it. So that works out pretty good. So you can rig it on a Texas rig. Now, I don't have the peg on here, but you can peg it on a Texas rig just like you would fishing a big worm. And when reel it through the grass, when he hits it, set the hook on him so and lean into him. So that's one way you can fish it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend just rear and hammer back and hammer him. I like to lean into this bait when he hits it, but kind of give you an idea. And then obviously we began to find out it worked real good as a trailer. Now this is the way I use it about 90% of the time when I use the Cane Thumper. I like to put it on a chatterbait. It has great action. It'll really wiggle and make a lot of noise and in the water and do some things like that. So it's very popular. This is one of the top things that we use it for today. And then a lot of the guys I know use it on the back of their swim jig. So if you don't like a craw type bait on your swim jig that flaps, then the second option would be something that wiggles. Well, this would be the option, putting it on a swim jig and fishing it that way. Another way, I like the 4-inch model bait to do this with, and on the chatterbait preferably. All right, and then I got thinking, I went up to Winona, Wisconsin in August, and everybody was using a little finesse rig to catch the fish up there. Obviously, I wouldn't take this to Lake Falcon and throw it for falcon bass. You probably come back with your feelings hurt. But like in a water where you've got lots of spotted bass, you're going to catch lots of numbers. This is something you can do it in a finesse rig. This is our new swimmer head, and it's got a 3.5 Cane Thumper on it. So that's just a couple of options. Other ways you might want to use it, Alabama rig. That's how it kind of got started. It's real good on Alabama rig. Obviously, you can still put it on the belly weight hook if you'd like to. I've put it on the back of a spinner bait at times. So there's a lot of different ways to use it. I mean, you guys are all creative. So create your way to use it and try it. I think you'll be happy with the way it works. Jordan, we got any feedback coming in today? We got any questions?
You guys go ahead and send in some questions right now, and I'll ask Les. In the meantime, Les, show us those hook pockets on this bait and tell us about them.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point, Jordan. A couple things about the bait. It's ribbed, and the ribs actually will give it a more of a swimming type action and make it wiggle more. And then it has a hook pocket for different ways. It has an internal hook pocket which your hook will go through, and then it has a deep set hook pocket on the top where you can lay the point of the hook. I like to come all the way through and just lay my hook right here on the top of it. That way you're gonna get, you'll get a hold of the fish a lot easier. And it works real well, and that's something we designed into the bait, something that Dean thought was real important. And if you really pinch in there and feel, there's not a lot of meat between the top and the bottom now, so you don't have to penetrate a bunch of plastic to get bites. And another thing that I want to mention is this is also infused with bite juice of all varieties. So that's something else that people ask all the time. Well, does it have your sin in it? Yes, it does. So that's another way it can be used. Things that can work with it.
Okay, one question I just had from One Perfect Cast.
One Perfect Cast. Okay, let's hear what he wants to know.
What is the best swim bait for fall? We have a ton of different ones. So.
Wow, we have a ton. Not getting away from the subject today, I know personally I've done the best on suicide shad. That's the one I like in the fall of the year. It just seems to work real good with the type of things that I do. So I'd highly recommend the suicide shad simply because it's got sizes, it's got shapes, it's got real life colors. Something I would, that's probably number one for me, I guarantee you. Okay. Definitely.
I have in Brazelton asking, what is your favorite color for clear water?
That's the all wife works real good. The smoky gold works real good. I don't have one of those on the table. This chick magnet's real good in clear water as well. It's got a kind of a golden top on it. I would recommend that, but definitely that's some of the colors that we put in that we basically set up for clear top water.
Okay. So now I'm wondering, what was the answer to our question at the beginning for what is our most best-selling bait? Have we got
hits already on that? Good.
Yeah, we got a lot of people answering.
Oh, great. Trick stick, obviously. The trick stick sells. All these guys that fish trick sticks and AKA the old Senko style bait, it works real well. It's our number one selling bait. Can't make enough of the watermelon red ones, I can tell you. They go fast, definitely. So good. So everything's good. Next week we're going to get away from swim baits. We've been stuck on swim baits now for about 4 weeks, and we're going to get into some of the things I like to do a little bit more. I believe in the next 3 or 4 weeks I saw today we're going to cover some of our punching, flipping type baits, some of our casting type baits, fighting frogs, yo mamas, yo daddies, that type of thing. Man, I can't wait to get to that. That's what fishing's all about there. Power time, you jam him up, so I can't wait. But anyway, the next week we'll see you then. Y'all have a good day.